Once again, if Sam were here tonight, hope you feel better, Sam, he'd start down. Instead, I think it ends up being a Luds version of that drop because the Stars won in overtime. They get the 2 points. They beat the Jets tonight. Let's start the postgame show right now. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the DLLS Stars postgame show alongside Craig Ludwig and from Parts Unknown, Sean Shapiro, and our producer, Ryan Vaughters. I'm Owen Newkirk. Thanks for joining us tonight. Before we get into the show, do not forget about our Finnish Mafia hoodie that's on sale now at alldlls.com. Great looking, soft, comfortable, and if you're a DLLS diehard, 20% off all merchandise, including the hoodie. They will not last. They are here for a limited time only. So grab one of those. And while you're at it, grab one of the t-shirts too, because those Finnish Mafia t-shirts look great. So grab those and you will not be disappointed. Special shout out to our buddy T.O. as he, once again, hooked us up. Although some of you are still waiting for the t-shirt. I know he brought it up. By the way, T.O. brought it up on Saturday night. You're smirking already in front of GM Ben. I had multiple times. Did you have to separate them at one point?
I had to call Ben's attention to come over here and hear. No, Ben, like Ben does, had other reasons that why this didn't happen.
He deflected a little bit.
I don't want to say that. I could have swore though I saw a picture of him wearing it in Disney World.
Oh, probably. He goes all the time. Was that Sean's that he says he was going to send to him?
That could be. Yeah. We're in the same boat. Yeah. You have yours. We don't have.
Just like you with the hats, when you paid for them, you got them right away, right?
I got them before.
You got them before Christmas.
Too late. Yes.
Yeah,
that's.
What your rush shipping. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
Sean, you look like you have something to say on the matter.
I'm just laughing at the.
Sean, do you have your microphone yet? I heard that last year. You have a microphone? Was there a mic?
Do you remember the headset he had that he then later snapped in half?
Well, yeah, he bought that one at Toys R Us. There goes my red pen again.
That was the microphone.
Oh yeah, but wait, I thought there was supposed to be he was supposed to be getting a microphone.
That was it. That headset.
Oh, that was it.
Yes.
Oh, that was before Toys R Us got shut down.
That's what they sent to me, Luds. Then I have since added my own better audio solution.
Okay.
And it's noticeably better.
Yes, and that was off of my own investment. So
a couple soup cans and a string would have been better than the last thing that you had.
He really didn't like the look of the online gamer or the air traffic controller.
No, that was rough. Yeah.
He didn't like that at all. All right, let's get into it before we all get called into the principal's office a little bit later. But I want to start with this. To me, had all the feelings of a playoff game, especially with how physical it was, how tight it was, and how careful it seemed the teams played for the most part.
Well, two teams playing for different reasons. You know what I mean? But there were a lot of pucks directed at the net from both teams. So they were trying to get pucks up. There were times I felt that Winnipeg spent a little more time in the offensive zone, or maybe extended time where they got in there. But Dallas did a pretty good job with, keeping things to their perimeter. But yeah, I think anytime, this is always going to be the feel of a playoff game, even if it's game 10 of the season. It's just, when you play teams a lot and you go the distance against them, and then again on the line tonight, and I'm sure that the guys in front of Hellebuyck were trying to play just the same of the guys that playing in front of Jake because of implications going down in a couple of weeks from now and things like that. And so Jake comes out on the right end of it.
Yeah. Sean, if you were going to give us a quick goalie assessment of this, I don't know if there's much to glean, but if you look at it, what was your big takeaway of watching Connor Hellebuyck duel Jake Oettinger tonight?
Well, there's two key moments for me and this is a Stars-centric podcast, so it's easy to focus more on Jake, but I'll do it that way. He makes the save in overtime on the breakaway, right? Is it the best approach on the breakaway? He makes the breakaway save, right? And then the Stars go and score at the other end and win the game. That's one of those things that you're going to think about in big moments as someone to make the stop. And then from the Connor Hellebuyck side, I think he was good as he could have been tonight, except for, and I'm not saying that Mikko Rantanen doesn't score that goal against most goalies, but there is
I knew he wasn't going to like that one.
Which one?
There
the
was
Moose goal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that there's a less. It's one of those plays where I've said multiple times before, if you're a goaltender, be an athlete, be active, make the save. And there was a bit of I didn't like Connor Hellebuyck ended up laying on his back on the play and basically kind of rooted, to steal a soccer term, Owen, when we talk about a goalie
rooted to the spot,
basically rooted to the spot where he was beat. Great, take nothing away from Mikko Rantanen. Incredible goal. He's so fun to watch, everything like that. But that's one of those where, when we're talking about the margins of picking which guy is going to play more minutes for Team USA, those are the things you're going to hyper focus on. Also,
Sean, what was did you have a problem with Hellebuyck? We're going to break this all down later, but did you had to have noticed that he defaulted on that goal to the RVH, and I feel like that wasn't the right decision there. Again, me saying Connor Hellebuyck shouldn't do this or that probably sounds a little rich, but it did look like he went for a post seal on a one-on-one. I don't know. What did you think of that play?
Yeah, I didn't like the approach. And to be fair to Chaotic in the comment, I am not crapping on Mikko's goal. I'm crapping on the goaltending decision, on the decision of the two things can be true. As in, I was asked about the state of the goaltending to the chat. The fact of the matter is, the save selection and the lack of athleticism on the play by Connor Hellebuyck on Mikko Rantanen's goal. That's when we're talking about the margins of picking who's going to play in a best on best hockey tournament. You're going to go look at the little stuff. And as Luds asked me before we went on the show, at the same time, I don't know if either of them did anything to overplay what Jeremy Swayman's done so far lately. So that's a whole nother wider discussion. But yeah, Connor Hellebuyck is an interesting goalie because so much of his game is his play reading is what makes Hellebuyck a Vezina Trophy winner, one of the best on the planet. It's his play reading, not his athleticism. He's big, he reads the play well, and he's able to, when it comes to decision making, 95% of the time he makes the right decision. Tonight on that play and a couple other times, he got away with bad decisions a couple other times because of his size and some reflexes, but that's the type of goaltender he is. Jake is someone who I think Jake, when we talk about Jake's game and we compare him to another goalie, we don't ever compare him to what Connor Hellebuyck does. They get compared because they're American, right? Like they get compared naturally because they're both competing.
Their styles are different,
similar,
aren't they?
but yes, exactly. And Jake is even very I wrote about. I had an article feature in D Magazine today about Jake, and Jake was talking about how he looks up to Andrei Vasilevsky. He wants to play like Andrei Vasilevsky. He wants to play like that. And then that's who Jake is more similar when it comes to style, when it comes to how he approaches the game and kind of going through some of the building athleticism into his size and his play reading, where Hellebuyck is more of it's all up here. And it's great. Like if Hellebuyck is a little bit more athletic, he's one of the best goalies of all time, just to be frank, but it's his play reading. And he made a mistake on that play. That being said, I don't think he makes the save either way, but so just to the chat, okay, we're not ripping on anything Mikko Rantanen did. I was asked about what
they
the
think he's trying to dump on Mikko's goal.
Well, the thing about that though, Sean, I was going to ask you, I would assume that the way you talk about Jake's style versus Hellebuyck's style, right? And Jake seems to be a little bit more aggressive. He comes out to challenge, and there's been times where we'll trash him for coming out, and then kind of where they'll tuck it in on the short side, they go around him, right? This one here with Hellebuyck and the Rantanen one, it's like he plays right on the goal line, And Rantanen just has that long reach of his, and he just can't get his foot across. If he comes out more, he probably can poke that puck off of Rantanen's stick, but because he's so deep on the goal line, his leg just doesn't make it on that one. I'm guessing both styles. Hey, by the way, did you get a chance to hear Turco today on Daily Faceoff? Did you know he was on there?
I did not. I'll have to go listen.
Yeah, it was funny because Marty, I was listening because of the Trotz thing. I don't, and I didn't even know they did a podcast. Totally honest. Anyway, Marty was talking about the style, today's style versus the way he played, and he was just explaining. He goes, I just don't understand their style. He goes, because I was more of an aggressive one. He goes, I looked around and I found the puck. The style today is they get into this system or whatever you want to call it, and they just think it's going to hit them.
Yes.
It's more of a positional thing. He goes, I knew where the puck, Marty says, I knew where the puck was all the time. I mean, my head was on the puck and I was looking for it. And Marty was a scrambler, right? I don't even know if Marty had a style. But, I mean, he was a scrambler, in my opinion. But he just made saves. But the difference, I guess he was saying, is because he would find the puck. He would look around. He wouldn't just go down and not look around and try to find it. He thinks they just trust their positioning and their size.
Marty also wouldn't have made the NHL today because he's 5'11", just to be very honest. And that's nothing against anything Marty did. Just Marty's 5'11". There's only one goalie in the NHL there's only one goalie above the AHL right now that's Marty's height in the league anymore, and that's UC Saros in Nashville. I believe last time I checked, there's only one other 6-foot goalie in the entire league between the two leagues when it comes to the AHL and the NHL right now. So like Marty at 5'11", and I know he had a great, like Marty would have never gotten the opportunity to play in the NHL the way that some of these guys would. And it's a sad state of the position. And that's just, and I'm going to go on a quick soapbox for a bit where
you got him started now, lads.
I know.
Like we've got, like, it's a sad state of the position where now we value so much on size, and that physical tool has basically trumped so much when it comes to goaltending, the way teams evaluate it, where there's guys who you might have a better option who's 6'1", 6'2", even, who that's short now. 6'1" and 6'2" is incredibly short.
I mean, that's Casey DeSmith is in that category.
Yes, exactly. And you've got guys who are getting like who's the guy that Anunin, Justice Anunin, right? So who gets traded is a goalie.
Close enough.
You watch his name play, you watch his game, and he's a classic example of probably should never have been an NHL goalie. Only gets that opportunity because he's 6'4.5" or whatever he is, and is able to just basically, we'll teach him how to play the position because he's big. It's just so many teams now take this approach of we'll take a big guy and then we'll teach him how to play the position. When the reality is all the big guys who are actually good and elite, they have something that makes them elite beyond their size. I talked about Connor Hellebuyck before, and it's his play reading. He is one of the smartest. If you ever talk to Connor Hellebuyck, it comes off as a bit egotistical when he talks about his game because he's not the greatest at connecting with other people. But Connor Hellebuyck, if you ever talk to him about breaking down the game, he breaks down he's the equivalent of talking to a quarterback breaking down football.
John, do you equate Hellebuyck's style more to like Ben Bishop, the way that Bish played? Of
a little
being
bit. I mean,
positionally big and reading it really
big,
well.
Big, he does his own thing. His hand positioning, like Hellebuyck's hand positioning, is one that most goalies can't play with. Like one of the things that kind of connected to Stars history, one of the things that really kind of derailed Jack Campbell's early career is at one point he tried to copy playing like Connor Hellebuyck too much. He played with his hands really low because Connor Hellebuyck's hands are so low because of Hellebuyck's got both his size and then his wingspan is longer. I believe, I have to double check that, but I believe Hellebuyck's wingspan is longer than his actual height, so he's able to play with his hands out even further. So Hellebuyck is able to play with this kind of goofy looking stance that a lot of goalies can't. And Jack Campbell tried to copy it at one point, and it really messed with what Jack dealt with on top of other things. And so like I was kind of, my point here is size is important, and that's what gets you in the door. But the guys who actually become elite have something else. And
I've heard that before too.
I knew you couldn't resist.
Yeah, and with Hellebuyck, it's the play reading and everything like that. With Jake, it's the combination of the athleticism and the mentality, and then even a guy. Since we're going to stick with all the Team USA thing, one of the greatest things about watching Jeremy Swayman play, and just obviously you think about that, and I know they lost that game to Tampa, that outdoor game the other night, but one of the things about watching Jeremy Swayman play, Jeremy Swayman has this game. Jerry Swayman hit his. I spoke to Dave Lassonde at USA Hockey, the goalie coach at USA Hockey, about this about 3 or 4 months ago about Swayman. Swayman's game is a small goalie's game and a big goalie body, because Swayman hit a later growth spurt in life. Like he wasn't in the net because he was big. He was the smaller kid who skated well, played the position that way, and then as he grew, he kind of kept those small goalie skills in a big body. And to Marty, to my point about how Marty being on the Daily Faceoff today, I'll have to go look it up, or maybe I'll just call Marty after we get off and ask him what he said. That like it's Marty had these
name check
these
right
skill.
there.
Yeah.
Did I start this whole thing?
Yes.
I shouldn't have asked that question.
Well, you
Okay.
filled the segment.
Well, I know. That's
Anyhow.
what I was kind of. I think
It
we
worked.
filled 2 segments.
My point is Marty, who should have won.
Oh,
a
that's
Vezina
what it was.
Trophy,
It was something about Turco. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Marty should have won a Vezina Trophy. He was one of the most underappreciated goalies of his era. And I think it was 2003. He should have won the Vezina, set the modern day save percentage, the league save percentage for that season. All of his skills and everything like that, because of his height, if he was playing in today's game, he would not have gotten the opportunity to be a starter. Someone would have said, "Oh, we'll go find a 6'1" dude. We'll find a 6'2" dude, or better yet, we'll go find a guy 6'3" who may be a little bit slower, but you know what? He's not the crazy 5'11" dude who likes to go and play the puck a ton." Marty had to play the game his way and carved out an incredible NHL career that probably is underrated. And unfortunately, this position has evolved so far where I don't know if we'll ever, after Saros is done, I don't know if we'll ever have another goalie under 6 foot in the NHL. I just it's hard for me to see that ever happening right now. So, anywho, I've just yelled
ask
a
him
lot
another
right
question.
now.
We'll
I'm
take
not
the
gonna.
second
No,
segment
I'm
off.
talking to you this time. What I was going to say is the style that Marty plays. His son Finley, who's a defenseman with us, kind of plays the same thing.
Does
like
he really?
Tremblay all over the map and trying to calm him down, like the crazy feet and all over. So I know where he gets it from. So we
Gets
should
it
probably,
from his old man.
should really go
All
to
right,
break.
up next, let's do the breakdowns. Let's talk about the game. Stars winning overtime over the Jets here on the DLLS postgame show. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You've heard us talk about this for a while now, but Prize Picks is fun, easy to use, and being right can get you paid. How easy? Well, simple. You just download their app. You can use their website, but the app is really easy too. And then you set your lineup, 2 to 6 player stats. That's it. And if you get it right, cha-ching, right? So one of the easy things about Prize Picks is that you can do it either your own picks, or you can actually follow other Prize Picks players directly right on the app and then just copy their lineups within one click. So even if you don't feel like you've got the best picks, which you probably do, but if you don't, just follow a friend, celebrity partner, whoever, somebody you like, hit the follow button, check out their lineup, and then a couple clicks and boom. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code DLLS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code DLLS for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Good to be right. Wild Fork Foods Meat and Seafood Market. I have a couple things to say about this because they're fantastic. First, huge thank you to Wild Fork because they provided the delicious meats and seafoods for our DLS Stars Takeover event this past Saturday. They brought in, Casey brought in from the Louisville store, the picanha, which was outstanding. There was I think it was a bison sausage. I might be getting that wrong. There was an Argentine shrimp. Look, unbelievable. But what you don't know is they have everything you could possibly want for your next meal at your house. All you have to do is go pick out meat, poultry, beef, you name it, seafood. They have side dishes. They have desserts. Ask Luds about the pies. They are fantastic. 9 area DFW locations. Check them out online at wildforkfoods.com. This is better than your average grocery store.
Oops.
All right, we're back here, and before we ask another goalie question to Sean, let's talk about the goals tonight from the players, and then we can let him finish out the last, what do you say, half hour? We'll just ask him another question about Hellebuyck, and off we go. We kid Sean, but we are glad he's here tonight. All right, let's get into this one. No goals, Luds, in the first period. In fact, very few scoring chances, a very cautious period, but not without its heavy hits. Adam Ernie came to play tonight.
Yeah, he had 4 hits in the first period, and it actually got him in trouble on one of the goals. But regardless of that, it's what he does.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw in the third period, once he gets going, he came up the right side of the ice there. He's got some wheels, and he's like a heat-seeking missile. He's either going to hit you or he's taking the puck. If it's on his stick, he takes it to the net. So I love the style of the game that he plays, for that fourth depth guy, that fourth line depth guy or third, wherever he gets a chance to play.
Sean, did you get that sense, that sort of playoff feel, especially that first period where it felt like both teams were being smart, but not, I don't want to call it safe, but just careful not to make mistakes?
Yeah, and I think Luds said it before I went off and just went off the deep end earlier, where Luds said it how both teams had something important to play for in different respects. The Jets are in this spot where they're going to be 8-9 points out of a playoff spot, something like that, going into the Olympic, sitting on that with 2 weeks and going to the Olympic break. That's not going to. This team won the President's Trophy last year. That's not going to sit well. Stars, obviously, we've seen them play these close games lately and trying to answer some of these questions. And so it definitely played into kind of what Luds talked about earlier with that. And it's good to see you guys brought up Ernie. Like, that's such a great, I think that story just kind of gets lost sometimes. And it's always good to kind of bring that up. Like, you better remember, he was in camp on a PTO, right? Like, this is a guy who was not going to be, probably only gets the NHL contract because of Jamie's injury. Like, if not for Jamie's lung injury in the preseason game against Minnesota, do they have the space to even sign Adam Ernie on the roster to start the year? Like, that's such an underrated good story for the player, of just like, you talk about a guy who.
Or this, do you think there's a chance they would have sent Ritzkovian down? Like, if Jamie doesn't get hurt and Ernie earns a spot, does Ritzy Ritz end up in the AHL? One of those two options, for sure.
Yeah. Either way, like, my point is just, like, we're talking about a guy in Adam Ernie who helped set a tone and helped kind of all season. There's been times where you've wondered, hey, where is this team going to deliver on that 1% per game that Glenn talked about before the season? And then when you go and see a guy doing it on February 2nd, this is a guy that before the season started didn't even have a contract. So, like, I just, the Adam Ernie story is so fun for me to see, just because he's a guy who was kind of discarded a couple of years back, was put on waivers, was just kind of, and to see him kind of work his way back up and then playing this way, even if in a role that fits him, it's fun to watch, and it's a story that I think we just should highlight more often sometimes.
So let's get into the second period now, because the only thing I think that hurt the Stars was they took 2 penalties in the first, and they were Foxa tripping, kind of came from behind, almost like a little slew foot, except for he didn't have the upper pullback part. And then Heiskanen got called for getting the stick in the hands it was a hooking call. And that was really where Winnipeg got a bulk of their chances, was on the power play. And Jake made a great save on a Perfetti rebound right down in the low slot. But then Jonathan Toews gets called for hooking. Oh, we must have a big super chat. What do we got, Ryan? Hey, a Harley and an Oettinger from I Love Misty 1985. That one gets a cut right into the show. I was going to complain about the Wild keep winning, forcing the Stars to keep pace, plus our inability to close out games costing us a regulation win. But after another Harley OT game winner, all I'm going to say is Hellebuyck, buck, beep.
I was actually going to bring that up with you guys. I didn't know where to cut in with you, too. But it was an important point for
Hellebuyck.
That's the request right there.
That's what I said. It was an important point for, I don't know, Winnipeg.
It is.
Obviously they wanted
that's
that.
a big deal for them.
But for Dallas, it was also, and you wouldn't think that, but many found a way to win in they were in
OT, I think, right?
They won an OT. Yeah, I think it was Kaprizov. Yeah, it was Kaprizov. Yep. And then that was, because otherwise Dallas doesn't grab this point, they're up by a couple more. So it was an important point for Dallas as much as Winnipeg.
I mean, the Jets were a couple minutes away from going home empty-handed. Yeah. So to pick up a point to end the road trip. I think they'll be thrilled with that, especially against a good Dallas Stars team. But anyway, Taves gets the hooking penalty with about 20 seconds to go in the first period. They actually had a good sort of puck movement. They just didn't get it on net. Then they get the fresh sheet of ice. Sometimes I think that the sort of interrupting a power play can affect a man advantage in a negative way. With this team, with the way they move the puck, that clean sheet ice only helps them.
Yeah, and they tweaked a little bit tonight. Like, you didn't see Wyatt in the slot. They kind of moved him around, and it actually paid off because as you know, when you're the guy in the league that scores all your goals on the power play from that one spot, they're going to start to take you away.
Yep.
And I thought what was nice tonight is Robo slid into there, and that's how Robo gets his goal. And so, but
walk us right through it.
Well, I'm trying to, but Ryan's over there trying to probably make another funny video of AI against me. And yeah, we're talking about the replays on.
I wonder if he's got you flying a fighter jet tonight.
What's he looking for? A traffic report? You said so he can get home. Yeah, of course we're ready. So on this particular what the puck. So this is where Wyatt sets up tonight. Look at we're normally in the slot. Now Wyatt's all the way over here at that opposite faceoff dot, and what that does, because everybody knows how dangerous Wyatt is, it pulls one of their defenders away from the front of the net because you got to take care of this guy. And I thought it was whether they did this on purpose or they got mixed up tonight or not, it's a brilliant move because now all of a sudden that guy that scores all the goals is out here. And what was happening is DeMello was kind of following him in places. Now, there we got Robo standing right in front of the net, who's better hands than him, and this is where it starts to happen. So all of a sudden now, defensemen, they're thinking, well, Wyatt's going to be over here. Now Wyatt slides down. That defenseman moves away from the slot, okay, because he's worried about that pass that goes over to Wyatt for that one-timer. And then this guy here, number 96, finds that lane, and there's Robo right for that little tip in. And this is just because of whether this was on purpose or they just got moved around, but this puck that Rantanen puts over here, but you can see the distance that they want to come up here and cover Wyatt because he's that dangerous. And I just put this on here because if that pass doesn't hit him directly on the stick, it goes off his skate. And it's not a kicking motion. Bigger
target, isn't it?
Well, he makes his blade instead of being 8 inches. You know what I mean? So anyways, and then here we go. I know. So anyway, and then the defenseman. Oh, go back one, Ryan. Even here, look at where DeMello's stick is. It's over here covering Wyatt, and there's Robo standing in front. And again, a lot of things happen when you take him away, and then when you leave Mikko Rantanen with a passing lane like this, and again, Robo, little tip of the blade and up over Connor Hellebuyck. And so another nice play by the little adjustments that they make here.
Power play goal for Robo, his 31st of the year. He'd gone 3 games without a goal, so that's got to feel good for him. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but if I remember correctly, that was the second time from that position Mikko looked for Robo on that power play. You could see he recognized that the lane wasn't quite there, and when that came around again, it was like, oh, I'll hit him this time.
I think the first one, Wyatt was on the back door over there somewhere too. So he basically had 2 options. It doesn't hit one, it's got the other one.
Okay, so Robo scores, and that feels like a really important start to the game. Second period, they get the lead. And then less than 2 minutes later, it's tied. And this is a tricky one because of where it starts, Luds.
Well, in the offensive zone.
In a tie-up in the corner.
Yeah, and it was in the corner. And again, and you were right earlier. This was not Thomas Harley out here. This was Esa.
It was Esa. I thought it might.
Esa was down low. Esa had pinched on this one, went down low. But again, this is Foxa that's got him covered up, right? Now, it's a little, you've got Adam Ernie, who is going to come out here. Adam Ernie does what again?
Hits.
He runs through people. This is a situation where he probably shouldn't have. He should have been backing him up. Ernie ends up being on the wrong side. Puck gets chipped out. Now, all of a sudden, it's a 3-on-1 going the other direction.
And there's Ernie chasing Vilardi.
Yeah, well, everybody's chasing. And then Esa's actually going to be the last guy into the picture here. Miro plays this great, and Jake makes the save. So, and it's just one of those kind of, he's got to get, I think he gets it off his toe of his right skate.
Yep.
And then what happens here is the puck just lays out here, and Vilardi's just coming in. It's a 3-on-1. Miro did everything right. I think Otter did everything right. Again, I mean, if it wasn't for Adam Ernie running him over, whether he would have caught him or not, but at least this probably doesn't turn into a 3-on-1. It's probably more of a 2-on-2 coming back.
Sean, we have to go to break here in about 30 seconds, so I'm scared to ask you a goaltending question because we always do this to you, but
it's a yes or no.
Miro got a stick on the first shot. It did deflect. He was trying to block it. As a goalie, do you want that? Or would you rather had that shot clean?
I have no issue with how Miro played that 3-on-1.
Yep. There you go.
I have zero issue with anything Miro did on that sequence.
He knew the assignment. Up next, we will talk about a lot more goals as the Stars beat the Jets in overtime here on the DLLS Stars postgame show. Okay, but first, we have to do some live reads. We have some extra live reads. Don't worry, this isn't yours this time. I got this. This is bonus for us. Lutz is like, what are we doing? Next ad break, you got your normal one. Yeah, you're good. So we're going to start with the DLLS diehards, and particularly, I want to talk about...
Sounds like we're winging this. Are we winging it?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a live read because we have to do this one, and then we're going to talk about the Stars takeover.
Oh, I know why we're doing this now.
Why is that?
Because I think they didn't get time to record it.
No, that wasn't it.
Oh, that wasn't it.
No, not this time. So,
maybe last time.
DLS Diehard gives you a lot of benefits, right? You sign up, use the QR code right below Sean, and that will take you to our website, alldls.com. You can sign up to be a diehard. If you get an annual subscription, you get a free DLLS t-shirt of your choice. Ryan's actually wearing the Finnish Mafia shirt right now, but he won't put himself on camera, but it's a great looking shirt.
He doesn't know
how to.
He was gonna.
You can get the hoodie. You can also get one of many, many other shirts, but it also gets you access to all the writing that Sean does, that Sam does, that Ron does. For the Mavs, of course, the Mavs have some interesting things going on right now. Clarence and the Cowboys are covering the Super Bowl out in San Francisco this week. They're out on Radio Row for the show, getting great scoops and insights. So make sure that you don't hesitate. Sign up today, become a diehard. You get discounts on merchandise. You get discounts on events. You get access to events. We'll talk about that a little bit later because it's Supporters Club time. And with the YouTube Supporters Club, this is just a little extra for those of you who really love doing the chat during the live show. Because what this is this is like the diehard Discord channel, which we haven't talked about as much lately, but I know our diehards, especially our Stars diehards, really enjoy the Discord and that community. This is for when you're in the chat during the show. You get a badge. Harry's favorite thing is the badge. You get special emojis, and every now and then you get a Supporters Club only video, special content. And there's one up right now that the newest one, I believe, is a outtake reel. They call them a gag reel, no pun intended, of Luds doing live reads or recorded reads. And it's pretty funny. So if you want to see that, sign up to be a member of the YouTube Supporters Club. All right. Luds, let's talk about the Cole Perfetti power play goal because this gave the Jets their one and only lead in the game tonight.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me, and you can what I'll show you here. This is how Dallas likes to kill, and I complain a lot about the offside forward not being in the middle of the ice, and so this is a tough one. And I don't know what we got started. Oh, this is Mikko's. This is
the penalty. Yep.
This was a penalty, by the way.
He didn't even argue, Luds. He beeline for that.
Yeah, I forgot that I put this on here. And so he keeps his leg extended out here, which I'd be saying no, Mikko. Like, we don't need any kind of knee injuries coming from you or ankle injuries.
Seriously,
but anyway,
right?
This is the coverage, right? So over to the left, this is Beck, okay? And this is where I'm generally complaining about this. I'd rather have, to me, the most dangerous guy is in the high slot. Now, this is a perfect pass. I believe it's Vilardi that makes this pass.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Okay. So now,
and it was quick too because it came down to Vilardi and they triangled that really fast.
And what happens here? So it's on Esa because if they're going to play like this, and you can see where this pass can't go across to the guy standing in the circle because you've got Oscar Beck standing over there. This really means that Esa is supposed to be the guy that's going to move out onto the guy in the slot. I'm just telling you, it's hard for a defenseman when he's killing penalties to move far away from the net, and that's what the hesitation is. And because of Essen not moving out there, there's plenty of time. It is a perfect pass, perfect shot. Perfetti gets us off a stick quick, and again, so I don't have a problem with this one. I just know that it's difficult for Essen to move that far away from the net. The other problem is Vilardi is on his forehand down there on the goal line.
Mm-hmm.
So Esa is concerned with him coming out and wrapping it and then not being there for a rebound on Jake. And so it's kind of hard as a defenseman to kind of want to move away from that and say, okay, go ahead. Because with Vilardi being the size that he is, if he does wrap that, now he's got Esa boxed out of there. So it's a tough read for Esa.
So
He better Esa.
The two next couple of chances, Cole Koepke on their fourth line had a wide open shot in the low slot. Otter made a great save there. Justin Ritzkovian had a breakaway. Hellebuyck stopped him. But I mean, I don't know about you, Sean. I thought Ritzkovian looked less deferring tonight on that line. He's looking more and more comfortable playing up on that top group.
I mean, he's earned the confidence, right? Like we've talked about, someone's got to play up there and someone's got to go and take it. And so, yeah, full credit to him. It's not that he's ever lacked confidence in other parts of his game. I think that's one of the things where he doesn't take anything for granted. But there's been kind of that, as you said, Owen, there's kind of that switch that's been flipped of, all right, I'm playing on the first line. I'm going to act a little bit more like it. Now he's never going to be the primary offensive go-to, but yeah, credit to him because he's doing a better job in that role than I thought he would.
He's filling a role that they desperately need too on that line.
Yeah. There's one of those where I thought we were going to be having the Sam Steele conversation about him. I thought the best thing Sam Steele was doing for Justin Ritzkovian was saving Justin Ritzkovian from being in a spot where people would be upset about Ritzkovian being there. And so credit to him because I just said the name Sam Steele, and I look forward to 16 chats popping up right now about to open a bunch of old wounds right there. So credit to Ritzkovian what he's done there.
Stars get a 5-on-3, and they didn't get a shot on goal. Now Wyatt did have a one-timer where his stick broke and kind of betrayed him, but and I believe Mikko had one shot from the slot that he barely missed, but they didn't force a save from Hellebuyck in a minute, and I believe it was 1:16 of 5-on-3 time.
See, my issue with that all the time is like you're killing your 5-on-3 because they want to look for the perfect play.
Yeah.
And so if you've got a PK that's playing their triangle and they keep it tight because they're going to make sure. And the one thing you generally say is don't try to put passes through that triangle because they're generally tight and their sticks are in those lanes. But if you can get them to move it around, again, who's your biggest enemy on a 5-on-3 is the clock. And you move it around, you don't. Because, again, you have a two-man advantage. If you get pucks to the net and you get guys on the goal line on both sides, now all of a sudden you box those guys out.
Is that a tricky thing for this power play group right now because it's the exact opposite of what's been working for them?
Well, can you blame them when they're able to like just knife and fork their way through
that thing around.
On a 5-on-4? Yes. They can do that. So they're definitely thinking they can do that on a 5-on-3. Unfortunately, you had a penalty kill that did a pretty good job against them.
Yep. So they don't score on the power play, but Nils Lundkvist, who hadn't scored since late December, crashes the net. Now, when you think of a defenseman scoring, you usually think of shooting from distance, not necessarily going to the net. Well, he went to the net and did exactly what you were hoping somebody would do.
He went 160 feet. I mean, he left the front of his net, and he was going to jump into the play. His mind was all set, jumps into the play, and what he does, he turns it into an outnumbered rush. Now, he gets it and he moves, and then what he does is he continues to go straight to the net. Not only that, but a lot of defensemen will go to the front of the net, and then they kind of curl and get back into position.
He didn't do that, did he?
Oh, he puts the brakes on, and he stops and stays there. Jamie Benn here makes a great play. Jamie's been playing great, especially when he gets across the offensive line. What he does is he kind of cuts into the middle of the ice, and he knows he's giving it to Duchesne early, but he just sets a pick. It's kind of like a little moving pick, and what that does, it opens up, little drop pass, opens up some space for Duchesne, and then comes into the POP. Now look at the lane that Matt Duchesne has.
Good look for Duchesne, too.
And but look at what he's got. He's already got Nils. He's posting up right on top of the crease here, and so Duchesne just gets it, and this is your POP. This is the puck off pad. This is a set play, and I mean, I shouldn't say it's a set play, but they know that the puck's going to come out. Goaltender pops it back out. Pop. I didn't even.
You did it perfectly.
Well, there you go. Pops it back out, and look at Nils. I put a circle around his feet because he's got the brakes on. He's not going to get moved from here.
That's like the snowplow.
Yep, exactly. And he just stays here. It's a perfect play by Duchesne. Jamie Benn. Nils gets rewarded from jumping up from his own end, gets here and pops it into the net. So you like to see Nils get involved because he's such a good skater, and and a lot of times. Like I said, I think that for Nils now, that gives him confidence to do that. We see Thomas Harley. He hangs around there.
Scored a power play goal in the Wyatt spot the other night.
See, I think Nils doesn't want to be caught out of position. But when that happens, it becomes a responsibility of another forward to be back for you.
Yep.
So,
Sean, Nils hadn't scored since the Chicago game coming out of the Christmas break. I believe it was a 16-game goal drought. And I'm not just picking on Nils. Miro now hasn't scored in 21 games. Thomas, until the last couple of games, hadn't scored in a long time. The Stars, well, they have been getting points. They aren't necessarily getting a lot of goals from their blue liners right now. That's a good one to get, even if it is more of a crash the net than your typical defenseman goal.
Well, that's why is this where we bring up the point that he was the off-season fitness testing champion, Owen? Is this where we bring up that?
Sure,
Nils,
why not? It's either that or you can answer the I Love Misty chat point where he wants you to respond to Matt Duchene's play of late, since he set up
Matt
the goal.
Yeah, Matt Duchene has been great over the last week and a half now. So we'll just give that's been incredibly awesome. I think Matt Duchene played less minutes and has worked his way up and proven that he should maybe play some more minutes now. But I don't know why anyone would have ever thought I would have had any.
He's the Dutch oven.
That.
Let's get it straight, Sean. He's the Dutch oven. He's the Dutch oven.
Yes.
All right. We have one more breakdown. Let's do it now because we have the time. This is candidate for goal of the season for the Stars.
Yeah. Well, he's got a lot of them. So, but it's
in the conversation,
or it could be a blooper reel for both the defensemen, one or the other. But yeah, this is 96. So Mikko Rantanen doing now. But I want to say before we go any further than this, there was a stoppage and there was a face-off. So here's what happened: is Gully sees who Winnipeg puts on the ice.
Home
Gully
team
puts
advantage.
his top guys on the ice because he's got Schenn and Stanley out here. So he doesn't have Morrissey in his top group out here. Smart move. I don't think he's going to take any credit for it. But now when a guy like Schenn gets his feet turned like this, I don't know how, and it's Mikko Rantanen. I have no other way to put it, but he's screwed. Like there is nothing
well, you wrote
he can
not
do
good
here.
on the screen.
Well, yeah, that's not good. I mean, and right now there's no way he can recover. Rantanen does this whole 9 yards again, and then he uses his reach. Look how long his stick even looks in here. So then he uses his reach. Then there's Stanley, who just turns his.
I got my guy, lads.
Yeah, I got my guy. He turns his back to the play. I'm going to make sure the pass doesn't cross. Good luck with one of the top 3 dangerous players in the league here, Connor. And anyway, this is the play that I was talking about to Sean.
Yep.
Because he's down on his knees and he's so deep in the net. Once he uses that long reach, and Rantanen knows what he's doing, he just gets it out, gets it over to the far post in his reach, and then it's just a little tap in for him for there. Go ahead, Sean.
And Sean, your rooted to the spot comment was spot on because he completely bites on the first fake to that near post.
Yeah. Can we go back to Ryan? Can you pull back the first image, the one where Luds wrote "not good" on it? Can we go back to the first one?
That one right there.
It's kind of wild because it's to watch these images go through as Luds was talking about between his reach and his space. It's from this positioning for Rantanen here. He's got about 8 feet of range, not 8 feet. My math's off there, but from this space, if you take this freeze frame, you're like, oh, this guy is going to be able to reach and go around all of this space. It is so impressive to me to watch Mikko Rantanen do this on a nightly basis. And he did it on this goal here, but there's so many little times in a game where he's able to just take advantage, use his reach, use his body, use his size in a way that, like, you'd think, hey, he's a large player. Teams would expect him to do that, and he still gets around it. It's so impressive. And I want to go, someone said I was ripping on this goal earlier, and I was just talking about Mikko. I was talking about Connor Hellebuyck's decision on it, but Mikko Rantanen is just so damn fun to watch. Like, if you could just ISO and watch, he's in that
Sean,
group of players that I would just
is he that guy? Is he that superstar that the Stars always felt like they were really balanced before they got Mikko? They had lots of great players. They had guys contributing on 3-4 lines, but they didn't necessarily have that guy. Is he that guy?
They've never had a player like Mikko Rantanen. Yeah, he's that guy. They've never had a player like Mikko Rantanen.
All right.
Yeah, and I would say Mikko Rantanen is arguably number one. I think there's a 1A and a 1B in the league on the backhand, and that's Leon Draisaitl and Rantanen. I don't know if anybody else. And back in the day, it was Mark Messier. Mess couldn't do the things that these guys are doing, but Mess was really good on the backhand. But these two guys on their Kucherov might be another guy.
Yeah, but I would also put Crosby up there too when it comes to the back.
Yeah, that's true.
I think
Crosby. Yeah. So there's 4 or 5 of them.
Hey, Lud's Chaotic in the chat said there needs to be a chalk outlines for those Winnipeg players that Mikko skated through for that goal.
Well, you're going to go through a lot of chalk, like during the course of a season.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, and the thing is strength. Once he gets you, especially when he makes the move to the backhand and he can drop the pipe, like in other words, he drops his left arm down and then he holds the puck out even further. You can't get to him. And that's what happens.
That's what Sean was talking about, that space, the side-to-side range that he can move the puck. Yeah. I don't know how you defend that.
With help.
Yeah, with help. With help. You got to use help. All right, let's get to our final ad break, which is the one where Luds does one, and then I'll do the other one. And then we'll talk about the tying goal, the winning goal, and your super chats, and whatever else you want to talk about in the final segment of our post-game show here on DLLS.
Ryan, let's start with the hats again, and this is in honor of our little buddy there. Sam is still under the weather a little bit.
Cheers to Sam.
So there's his hat over there on the left-hand side, the caddy hat, and our white DLS hat. And let's go back to Jamie Benn, because that worked in the pregame show, and Jamie did something again today, right? So there's the captain not wearing that visor on there.
5 assists now in the last 3 games?
Is that what it is?
I think so.
Yeah.
3 points in 3 straight.
Jamie's looked like he's got a little bounce in his step right now. And I think the break is going to do him good also.
Well, it's the 2 guys that combined for 70 years old that it's working for both.
Well, and again, what I said in the pregame show, he just did it in this one here where he comes to the middle and Matt Duchesne comes over to the right-hand side where Matt likes to be over there, and he makes those good kind of plays from over there. And so I think Jamie understands that. He doesn't have the same speed, but he still has the strength and the will to want to come to the middle of the ice. And then we should pull up the Moose shirt. I mean, for God's sakes.
I mean of all nights.
Yeah. The finisher, there you go. It's the first time. I mean, that's a good time to pull this shirt out of there, the finisher.
That was a heck of a finish. Yeah. A lot of people in the chat, by the way, Lud, saying they still think his spin around, that spinning backhand goal, is his best one this year. The one where he spun and no-look backhand top shelf.
But see, that one there, it's a great play, but that's kind of fortunate that you hit that small window up there. This one here, I mean, he's looking.
Sorcery.
He knows exactly what he's doing.
Sorcery.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the DLLS Die Hard takeover, which was supposed to be Stars and Mavs. And the Stars and Mavs both shows there, but it was like a Stars takeover because I believe it was 19 of our 20 guests here in the studio on Saturday night were Stars fans. Not that
Who was the Mavs fan?
He had a little Mavs jersey on. And like I always said, little, like it was just cute.
Well,
yeah, he was standing next to Bobby. They were talking about Mavs a little bit, but yeah, it was because we overwhelmed him with Stars. But you know what? It was really fun. We had a whole bunch of diehards in studio. Wild Fork Foods, meat and seafood market provided all the main course, the picanha, the shrimp, the sauce. I mean, it was great. And then, of course, Kendra brought the cheesecakes. We all had fun. Wild Fork brought pies, too.
Matt made the big move.
Matt made a big beverage run late once people started to really dwindle the supply early.
Yeah,
he brought
the Ryan.
We had a great time. I'm sure we'll do it again. We had a bunch of folks here watching the pregame show. We all watched the game together. Then we did our postgame. Just a fantastic time. It's literally why we're here, to celebrate the Stars with the fans of the show, the diehards. Couldn't have been more fun. Hopefully do it again sometime. And thanks to everybody at Wild Fork. Casey for cooking all that stuff, and Laura was the
I'd like to tell you how good it really was, but I went over my limit the other night. You
used them all Saturday,
my words, so I only had one and I took 2. So let's just say it was really damn good.
And it was fun meeting some of the folks that are in the chat a lot. So that
was
it.
And here are the cherry pies that I think I was booby trapped when I got here tonight. Man, so I opened up the fridge and them cherry pies came sliding out. And thank God I kept looking over the top of the door because I was on my hands and knees cleaning this up. And I thought for sure, exactly. I thought for sure you'd be over there taking a picture of me on my hands and knees cleaning up cherry pie.
Oh, Ryan's feels like a missed opportunity. Yeah. You're saying from a rather compromised position.
Well, I mean, it was. And I'm cleaning up
from
a
your
bunch
better
of
side.
Bloody cherries down there. That's what I'm saying.
The jokes write themselves, folks. They really do. All right, Luds, we go past the Rantanen goal. The Jets call their timeout, 6-on-5, final 2 minutes. And after Kyle Connor hit the crossbar from the right circle, Logan Stanley scores a deflected goal off of Mikko Rantanen to send this one to overtime. And you go, really? Your giant third pairing not super quick Logan Stanley, but he just scored his 9th goal of the season.
I think he had 1 last year, and
Yeah.
I think he was like me, a 1 goal a year guy. Got 9 already. This is the one, Sean, I'm gonna guess, because you know how Jake sometimes doesn't like what happens in front of him. Now Rantanen is not in front of the shooter. He's not in front of Stanton. What he does is he reaches and it hits the shaft of his stick. I'm thinking there. Jake is probably thinking, I got the shot.
He's gonna make it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and again, it's a fluky goal, but my first instinct when I look at Jake and I see him look up and he's like, you know, I'm good. So it's just kind of a natural reaction to do that.
Yeah.
But if you're not close enough and you've got to reach a distance, generally you just lay out.
Sean, before we get to the overtime goal, you wanted to make a comment about Mikko Rantanen's assists.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring this up because I think it's something that obviously I mentioned. We're talking about Mikko's goals and those those obviously we talk about goal of the year highlight and everything like that. But so he had his 48th assist tonight, right? And that moves him already into a tie for 43rd most assists in a season already in franchise history. And that's with whatever in his pace. He's on pace for 72 assists right now. And that includes accounting for the 3 games missed for the 3 games missed between the illness and the 1 game suspension. The franchise record for assists in a season is 76. And that was done that was Neil Broughton back in 85-86 with the North Stars. The Dallas, since the team moved to Dallas, Brad Richards season, the 2009-10 season, he had 67 assists, sorry. We're talking about a guy who, for a franchise that it was such a big deal when Jason Robertson cleared 100 points because this franchise never has anyone go for 100 points. We're talking about a guy who it's not just a question of whether he'll hit the century mark on a regular basis in the season. We're talking about someone that he's just going to rewrite every single individual season point scoring record as long as he's in Dallas. He's going to probably set the franchise in Dallas assist record this year. He might set, depending with a hot streak, might set the points record, the Dallas points record that Robertson set a couple of years back. This, it's kind of one of those, when you're experiencing and watching greatness, I just like to be able to stop and say, this is really effing fun to watch right now. And just enjoy that, because the Stars as a team and as a history, and Lud's played with so many Hall of Fame players and everything like that. And we're watching a Hall of Fame player right now who is doing incredible stuff. And it's just so fun for me.
Just wondering.
The
I'm
dude
waiting for
is
somebody
cooked
to
right
write
now.
something on here. No. I was going to say, I'm waiting for somebody to write something on here, and then Shaft over there is going to end up putting it up there. Just think that if he wasn't passing the puck to a certain player over there on the left,
you think there's going to be some Sam Steele slander.
I didn't say that. I wouldn't say that. So what I was going to say is, like Sean, on the other end of that, it's nice for Mikko having guys like Wyatt and you know what I mean, and Hintz and those kind of guys to be able to give, and Robo giving the puck to guys that can, finish it off for him too. So,
all right, let's go to the overtime, because we are hypercritical.
We're going to overtime?
No.
Oh,
the overtime.
Wait.
We are hypercritical about Jake Oettinger's game because of all the times, Sean, and we all talk about this. He has such a high standard for himself that we hold him to an incredibly high standard. But that save he made on Scheifele in overtime on a breakaway, as Sean said, maybe it's an unorthodox save. Maybe it's not exactly the angle or position he wanted. He made the save. He came up with the biggest save at the biggest moment. That's what your number one goalie has to do. If you want to be USA starter, if you want to be Stanley Cup guy, you want to be talked about in the Vasilevsky, Ed Belfour, you name it category, those are the saves you have to come up with in the big moments.
Yeah, the playoffs.
And the playoffs,
yeah,
of course.
I'm not regular season.
No, but I'm just saying that that's the example of it.
Yeah.
Keep doing it.
And that's what he's supposed to do. I mean, he's going to the Olympic team. That's what the guy at the other end of the rink did it too, right?
Okay, so Connor Hellebuyck yelling at the referee after Thomas Harley scores.
That's what I was going to ask Sean about that. And what he was complaining about, Sean, you saw when he got hit in the head and his buckle comes off, right? But I don't understand why he's having an argument, because Scheifele went down and got a scoring chance right after that. So why would he still be yelling about it?
Unless he was trying to get the attention of the ref saying, hey, but he didn't shake it off.
But why would he even be? You see Scheifele going on a breakaway.
Yeah, he didn't want the whistle then.
No, that's my point.
Yeah.
Like you did. If I'm the referee, I'm going, dude, like, did you want me to call it? And then Scheifele doesn't get a scoring chance?
What say you, Sean, on that?
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear to see what have we gotten the post game comments from Winnipeg yet on anything on that? Because I would love to hear.
The videos online, we won't be able to listen to it, and I haven't seen anybody tweet about it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I would just like a little bit more of the exact context of what and there's also, when you talk about the strap on the goalie helmet too, when it gets popped, it is a safety thing, and it does become a safety mechanism, and it's one of those where that's why you see goalies just pop the helmet off. And it's also something that it's not quick and easy to do, but you can pop it back on yourself as the chance. So I would really like more context here from.
Do you have to take your glove off to do it? You have to take your glove off?
And so like I would like a little bit more context of, we saw what we saw, but I would also like to be able to, like, I'm not going to judge it one way or the other, honestly, without getting a little bit more context from what was said either.
Yeah. And the other side of that is, in defense of the referee, Hellebuyck hit his left ear. So it's the left snap that comes off. Mm-hmm. The referee's on the other side he's on the right side of Hellebuyck. Yeah. And it wasn't one of these, Sean, where you see the strap fly and everything. You could, I mean, even when you watch it, you could barely tell it came off. So I'm sure he didn't even have a clue.
Yeah, I'm showing it to Luds again right here.
So
it hit him right square in the mask.
Yeah.
And one of the back buckles pops off. I'm sure he could feel that.
Yeah.
Although,
I'm sure he knew
he
it was
makes
off.
the second save.
But if he wants to make a fit about it, he doesn't get the scoring chance down here.
Great kick save by Jake. And then let's talk about the goal real quick. The fact that Harley from Duchesne here is able to catch that from his feet, kick it forward, and then just dangles around. Hell, that's it was pretty finish.
I mean, speaking of Scheifele and Morrissey, both of these two are staring at Duchesne, and that's when basically what it was. There was a green number 55 going north, and there was a white 55 staring at Duchesne going south, and that's where Scheifele's the one that has to pick up Thomas, and he doesn't. And Tom, we've seen this from Thomas, with the overtime goals. So just enough. What does that make for him now?
Six in his career, which ties him for fourth most.
See how I led you right into that?
You couldn't have set that up any better, honestly. He's tied with Louis Eriksson, John Klingberg, and Roope Hintz now. And you'll ask, why are these all Dallas Stars? It's because
I wasn't going to ask that.
There weren't a lot of overtimes. Overtime goals didn't exist in the beginning of the North Stars history. There were North Stars that scored OT goals.
I'll tell you what you should have up there, though. You should have Brett Hull's one overtime goal up there.
In the
that
crease.
would be the one to have.
Yes, indeed.
Is this Owen? Is this overtime? Is this a regular season?
Regular season, yes. We're not talking about playoff overtime goals. Just regular season OT game winners.
Okay.
And by the way, here's the last part for this on that, and then we'll get to our super chats. That's 3 goals in 4 games for Thomas Harley. Are we starting to see it turn to the corner?
Well, he's scoring goals. We need him to play a complete game.
Is this just a small sample size and we can't get overexcited about it just
yet? I think we know that the offense is in Thomas Harley.
But we haven't seen it this year.
But I know, but that's going to come for him.
Okay.
Where I'm always harping on him to be a little bit more at the other two.
You want to see the other stuff.
Yeah, I want to see him button that up.
All right, let's get to the super chats here before we get into the other overtime that Lutz gets a little less excited about. All right, so our super chats tonight, we've got a bunch. We start with Chaotic with a Lundkvist and a Rantanen. The Moose goal should be rated NC-17. That was pure, unadulterated filth.
It was nasty.
NC-17, no children under 17. Chaotic with another Lundkvist and Rantanen. Sergei Zubov would be highly, got to move the cursor there, thank you, disappointed at that 76 seconds. 5-on-3 power play the Stars had. That was frustrating to watch. For those of you wondering, what does he mean if we haven't, you've heard it before perhaps, but Sergei Zubov, his big line was, if you have 45 seconds or more of 5-on-3, you should score.
Yep. Well, Sergei Zubov can say that.
He can.
Because he was passing to Brett Hull and Mike Modano and your
But he also was getting the puck to the net too, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
All right, Villain DTX. Go ahead, Sean.
Real quick. real quick, just to add to that point, and I don't know what the
Lud's is chuckling about real quick, but that's okay. Go ahead.
Towards 74 seconds, but there was a study a couple of years back that if you gave an NHL team 2 minutes of 5-on-3, they score about like 53% of the time. If you give 2 minutes of 5-on-3, so obviously that's 120 seconds, but so it's not I don't know what the math is for 74 seconds, but you should score with a 5-on-3. You should at least get.
Sean, I believe it was a minute 16, but they should for that. So
yeah.
Ryan, if you get the Lud's Hellebuyck drop ready, the next super chat is from Villain DTX, which is a Haskinen
the clean one.
99 cup year. Luds, give us the F Hellebuyck one time.
The raw cut.
Hellebuyck, buck. Hellebuyck, buck.
I love it. Next one is from .29694 with a Lundkvist. Love seeing Nils getting goals right on the doorstep. Go Stars.
Goals? Plural?
Let's see. I believe that was his
3 or 4?
third, right?
Yeah.
This year? Yeah, that was his third goal this year. So that technically counts as plural. Good Gamer 4024 with a Hatcher and an Oettinger. What are the chances we get over the Wild in the standings?
Oh, I'm confident they will.
You think so?
I do.
Second over third?
I do. I believe in this team before I believe in the Wild on the stretch and picking up points.
You think the Wild are done making moves?
No,
maybe a conversation for another day, but I don't think Billy Guerin's done.
I don't think he's done either.
Although, obviously...
Is Dallas done?
I don't think so.
Well, Dallas hasn't started.
No, Jim Nils said from the start he's waiting until after the Olympics. He's going to wait till after the Olympics. If he, with his limited...
See, I think you put that out there.
Sure.
And then you...
Only if you have an offer you
How many
can't
days do we
refuse.
got?
There's a roster freeze starting at 3:00.
Yeah, how many days are there?
What day, Sean?
Literally in like 18 hours, there's a roster freeze. So if you're not going to make a move within like the next 18 hours, the roster
but
freeze
isn't
goes
it like
into
2
effect.
days after the last game of this stretch
of the
before the Olympics? Isn't it? So there's a game after our game tomorrow night.
Stars play Wednesday. I believe there's a game Thursday.
One more.
Yes.
There's another game on Thursday. So I think, is it Thursday night at midnight then, Sean? Or
the roster freeze for trades and everything goes.
It doesn't
into
mean
effect
that they
before
can't
that
make a
game.
move. It doesn't. They can still do stuff. They just can't sign them until it's over with.
Well, I guess you could agree to the deal on paper.
Yeah.
But you can't like actually
Yeah, they
make
can
the
still.
trade.
They just
But you
can't sign
announce
until it's
it.
over.
Right, yeah, for sure. Okay, let's go to the next one. J. Scott TX with a, let's see, a Ludwig and an Oettinger. Marked safe from Hellebuyck, buck, go Otter. You know, the ironic part is that the Stars scored.
Buck. Hellebuyck.
I want to make sure they heard that. I love it. Stars scored the first goal of the game, that Robertson power play goal, and there was a chant in the AAC tonight of Otter's better that started, which was kind of cool again, right? That's not the first time that's happened. And then Winnipeg scored 2 quick goals and they had the lead, and you go, oh, geez. I don't think it jinxed anything, but
Why can't we, if we play these guys? Well, they're not going to make the playoffs. We could play that up in there, Hellebuyck, buck,
in the arena,
and then let the people go ahead and fill in the correct words.
I mean, if you know people with the Stars, you'd have to talk to the in-arena folks. And
I just don't think that's going to fly.
You think you could ask Razor and get that
No.
through? Probably
Well,
not.
you have to ask Razor.
Right,
Everything goes through
but you
Razor.
think
But then Razor will take it up.
You think that gets filtered out because of the
I say
language?
up. I don't think it's actually Razor doesn't take thing. It's just sideways.
Oh,
Because he's at the same level.
Same plane. All right. Next one is from Ludz's favorite, which is Finger
that?
Blaster 911 with a Broughton and a Bork. Ray Bork, that is. Sam have crabs? Question mark. Again? Question mark.
You
Boy,
go,
that
Finger
just
Blaster.
So appropriate. And then we have Stars at Night 99 with a Lundkvist and Year After the Cup. Sean with 10 seconds before an ad break. It began with the forging of the great rings. That's wonderful. That might be the super chat of the night. A little Lord of the Rings fun. All right, guys, we're almost out of time here.
Give Sean the last.
I will. We are going to have Justin Ritzkovian as a guest on the show tomorrow.
Hey, do we have a clock or a ticker that Sean could see so he knows?
No.
No?
No, that's why
can't see
we
that?
do those reads, because he can't see how much time is left.
Yeah.
Okay.
He has his own clock, but
Okay, go, Sean.
okay. But before we do, so Ritzkovian will be a guest on our show. Our regular show tomorrow is from 2 to 3 Central Time. Make sure you check that out. We're excited to have him on the show. Sean, final thoughts on this one?
I believe after the Forging of the Great Wings, I think it was 3 were given to the elves. I think 7 to the dwarves, and I think 9 went to the men, I believe. And there's some line about how man only wanted them for power, and then in secret, Sauron forged the one ring to rule them all in secret. So I think it was 3 to the elves, 7 to the dwarves, 9 to the men. I think
One
that
ring
was
to
the
rule
line.
them all.
One ring to rule them all. So we can paraphrase from here on. I'm sure Luds has read it and can give us all the rest after
He stopped
breaking
listening
down.
as soon as you
Dude
started
is
making.
cooked
No,
right
I was
now.
trying to send Ryan something. I was working on something this morning, and I forgot to send it to him. I was going to promote. Anyway, we could use it tomorrow.
You want me to vamp until he does that, or we'll do it tomorrow? Okay. So last week, Sean read Patrick Henry's famous "Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death" speech. Tonight, he gave a synopsis of the Lord of the Rings, or at least the setup to the Lord of the Rings. I can't wait to see what he does next.
You never
Luds,
know. You never
any
know.
final thoughts besides let's go home?
That's it.
All right. For Sean, Luds,
You ain't got to
Ryan,
go home, but
I'm
you can't
Owen.
stay here.
Thank you for everybody in the chat. T.O. just sent 5 more Supporters Club memberships. You guys are the best. See you tomorrow with Justin Ritzkovian right here on DLLS.
Right now, I have to stop saying.
We all silly like the mayor.